Tonight, our region leading South Australia's COVID-19 jobs recovery and calls for more support for sexual assault victims on the Lower Eyre Peninsula.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. South Australia has again recorded the worst unemployment rate in the nation at 6.3%, according to the Bureau of Statistics. It's not all bad news, with regional areas rebounding strongly following a turbulent year.
It's a story becoming all too familiar. South Australia once again recording worst unemployment rate in the nation for the 3rd month in a row. From 6.8 to 6.3%, the Innovation and Skills Minister says the job vacancies are there.
It's the 2nd month in a row now that we've seen the unemployment rate fall in South Australia. There are 19,300 job vacancies in South Australia. This is a record number of job vacancies.
However, Regional Development Australia York Mid-North is recording a positive spike in people looking and finding work.
Have rebounded far more strongly than other places in Australia, and certainly this is universal around regional South Australia. So there is an upward trend in jobs in our region.
RDA working with local businesses to fill positions across the region.
There's been over 320 jobs registered on that, either through the traditional means or through liaison with employers. Only still 115 of them are unfilled or registered.
Experts predicting the fallout from ending JobKeeper will not be widely known until the next round of figures.
April's the first month that we'll see what impact that has had on the unemployment rate.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Extra support for rape victims could be on the horizon for Port Lincoln's Hospital. Survivors of sexual assaults on the Lower Eyre Peninsula are currently forced to travel hundreds of kilometres for examinations in other cities.
Port Lincoln, 2019, a 25-year-old woman is assaulted. But it doesn't end there. She's then forced to travel more than 3 hours to the nearest medical clinic for a forensic examination.
I think it's unfortunate if anyone has to travel. What we do aim for is that they can receive a service as close to their home as possible.
Sadly, it's an all too common story. Port Lincoln only has one GP who provides the service, but was away at the time of this incident. Similar cases have also caught headlines across the nation.
When somebody's sexually assaulted and they report to police, the police may want to get some of the evidence collected from the person, and that should be done as part of a healthcare response.
Katrina D visited Port Lincoln and Whyalla Hospital to see the situation firsthand. She says more support and training is desperately needed for the Lower Eyre Peninsula.
And that's really just in case somebody's going on leave or is unwell or unable to support a request.
Whyalla Hospital has 3 staff trained in forensic examination, which Katrina says is a number she would like to see replicated in Port Lincoln.
There will certainly be further conversation, and we will continue to look to providing that training and support so that people can see somebody in their local region in Port Lincoln.
If you need help, contact 1800-RESPECT. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The Federal Shadow Industry Minister has spent the day in Whyalla, speaking to local businesses and steelworks employees. With the local plant's future still up in the air, he says he wants to speak up and defend local jobs.
Making a pit stop to see Whyalla's steelworks in full, the Shadow Industry Minister meeting with local member for Giles Eddie Hughes to discuss the future for steel in the city.
We want to speak up and defend the jobs that are here and the economic value that's generated by these steelworks.
People are waiting for the application to be heard in court in New South Wales on the 6th of May. That might throw some more light on what is going on.
Mr Husick today touring the plant, also meeting with local workers.
A lot of work has been done over many years to make sure that steel making happens here.
It's an issue that sits close to Mr Husick's heart.
As a son of a blue-collar worker, but particularly a welder, I can tell you directly that Australian steel workers value Australian steel.
Like myself, I've had 3 generations of my family working in the steel industry. I've worked in the steel industry myself, so I know in my bones just how important this is.
And with reports emerging, the federal and state government are considering a bailout plan. This Shadow Minister says he wants answers.
We have now written to the federal government asking to find out what they will do to support continued operations here.
We reached out to the federal government's industry department for comment, but they did not respond by deadline. Sophia Contagonos, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A 67-year-old Wallaroo man will face court after 10 rock lobsters were allegedly found in his vehicle without their tail fins clipped. Just after 12:30 March 26, police pulled over a car towing a boat travelling 10 kilometres over the speed limit at Kuliwati on the York Peninsula. Upon searching the vehicle, police seized the rock lobsters and referred the matter to fisheries officers. The man has been charged with 4 counts of failing to clip the tail as required. Still to come tonight, Port Lincoln bands together to help a local family in need, and a convoy with a message set to sail down the Darling River. Welcome back. South Australia Police have officially amended its firearm regulations to incorporate gel blasters. The new laws will enable gel blaster firearms to be used at licensed venues in skirmish-type events, similar to paintball guns. Anyone possessing a gel blaster without a licence, though, will be committing a criminal offence and could be slapped with hefty fines. Authorities say owners can still surrender their firearms over to police. As of last week, more than 3,500 blasters had been surrendered. Tens of thousands of dollars has been raised for a Port Lincoln toddler battling cancer. 2-year-old Gabriella Pruss was diagnosed with leukemia earlier this month after her parents noticed something was not right. They've flown to Adelaide so she can receive life-saving treatment, giving up their normal lives to do so. The Port Lincoln community rallying behind the family, raising more than $16,000 through a GoFundMe page. Future fundraisers are also being planned to help support the family. Motorbike and dirt bike riders in Port Augusta and surrounding towns are being reminded of strict rules to help keep themselves and the community safe. Our reporter Katrina Musson has more.
City Council has voiced their concerns over the use of dirt bikes on council reserves, which they say is jeopardising the safety of riders, nearby residents and visitors using public spaces. Police say riders need to be aware of the road rules.
Any person riding a motorcycle obviously needs to be appropriately licensed. The motorcycle needs to be registered and the people should be wearing the appropriate safety gear. Council has banned dirt bikes from local reserves, saying they can have negative impacts on the community, such as noise and dust pollution. And some dirt bikes can't be registered for road use. So, we've got a motorcycle club here in Port Augusta and people could contact them, and I'm sure there's plenty of members there that could offer advice on appropriate places to ride. Police encouraging riders to do the right thing to ensure the safety of themselves and others. Particularly if they're trying to sneak across roadways unseen, riding at speeds which other road users won't anticipate, or shooting out from areas adjacent to roads where the motorists aren't going to expect a motorcycle to appear from. Police are asking anyone who witnesses dirt bikes being ridden inappropriately to call the police assistance line on 131 444.
A convoy of wooden boats is preparing to travel down the Lower Darling, leaving Menindee tomorrow afternoon. Organisers say it's a way to raise awareness for what they claim are failed water policies.
Travelling along a calm river but hoping to make a splash, 3 handmade solar-powered boats like this one will lead a convoy from Menindee to Wentworth. The idea coming after a previous trip where organisers said the river wasn't deep enough to travel down. They're blaming current water policies for reduced levels.
We came up to have a look and we realised that there's no way that we could do it, that you couldn't even get a tinny or a lilo down the whole river, that there was only pools above the weir.
Other vessels are expected to join them along the 15-day journey. They're encouraging locals to bring their boats to the launch tomorrow afternoon.
So people can live on the river and it can be their playground and their holiday spot and their larder and their cultural stories.
Water policy is expected to be high on the agenda when Minister Pavey visits Broken Hill for the Western Division of Council's conference on Tuesday. Council last month unanimously voted to reiterate its concerns around the lake system with the Minister during her time here. The decision coming after previous correspondence where Ms Pavey claimed Council hadn't engaged with the stakeholder advisory group.
This is a river that is being killed, and we say it's in its death rattles now, and unless the policies change, this river's going to die.
The Minister's office was contacted for comment. Lachlan Eater, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. Wireless RSL set to march on ANZAC Day. And a Port Augusta dance studio gets a boost with brand new flooring installed. Wireless local RSL has joined other clubs across the Spencer Gulf, busy preparing dawn services for ANZAC Day. With last year's event tainted by COVID-19, members say they're excited to reunite this year, remembering the heroes of our past.
A day to remember and commemorate our fallen heroes. More than 30 Whyalla veterans will be able to come together once again, sharing the experience of this year's ANZAC Day service.
We've got the dawn service, which starts at 6:10. We'd like people to be there, members of the community to be there by 6 o'clock.
COVID-19 restrictions meant most veterans had to stay indoors last year, commemorating the day from their living rooms. But it's back to a near-normal service this year after the state government eased restrictions.
Last year we only had 10 people at the service, and this year we can have up to 1,000, which I know we were not going to get, but it'd be good if we could.
The Mount Laura Lions Club is organising a gunfire breakfast with the Royal Flying Doctors local fundraising group serving food.
The main march, which we form up at the front of the club about 10:15. March off is at 10:30. We start the service about 11:15.
Food and entertainment will also be provided at the local RSL club for residents to enjoy. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Managers from 40 credited tourism centres across the state will gather in the Mid-North for their annual conference on May the 3rd. The seminar will be showcasing Clare Valley and Borough, with guest speakers also involved. Event organisers have created a jam-packed event after last year was cancelled due to COVID-19.
To do the Riesling Trail, they're going to world-class restaurants, they're going to the wineries, in all of our sort of feature historical destinations.
The conference will run for 3 days. After successful fundraising efforts, Port Augusta's Ignite Cheer and Dance members have been taking full advantage of their new flooring. They say they've already noticed a difference in their performances as they gear up for their next competition.
It may look like a normal floor, but to the cheerleaders at Ignite Cheer and Dance, it makes a world of difference. Tumbling, stunting, jumping and dancing now easier with the installation of this $20,000 professional grade cheer sprung floor.
So a floor like this just means preventing a lot more injuries. It's better on their knees, their ankles, even jumps and things like that.
These passionate cheerleaders are already noticing a big difference in their routines.
Ever since we got it, everyone's been progressing quickly. We've only had it for a very short amount of time, but you can really tell with everyone. It's like they're more confident and they can just throw their skills now. It's safer for them.
And if someone falls, it won't affect their fall as much.
Benefits, they say, give them a greater advantage at upcoming competitions.
I feel like it gives us a benefit that the other teams have at cheer comps because they also get to train on the floor.
We can feel what it is at comps, and it makes it a lot easier.
Raising $8,000 at the police charity golf day last year, Ignite's coach says the project wouldn't have been possible without additional support from sponsors and the club committee.
Oz Minerals and Max Cranes, they also gave us some money to go towards the floor, and Kalari as well. But other than that, it's probably been about 6 million sausages, a few dozen raffles and whatever else we can do.
Thank you for supporting us.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Broken Hill locals have taken to the water as part of the 2021 Seniors Festival. Council and YMCA hosting an Active Healthy Seniors event with activities to improve mental and physical fitness. While land-based exercises were on offer, this morning's aquarobics class proved popular. The low-impact workout is ideal for those with joint and muscle pains.
You're getting your cardio working out, you're getting your strength workout, as well as you're getting some massage of your muscles by the hydrostatic pressure. So it's absolutely the best thing you could possibly do for this age group.
A range of exhibitors were also on hand, offering community and health services. Stay with us after the break. We'll check what fish are biting in the Spencer Gulf this weekend. And Alex Sykes will join us with a look at the latest weather forecast. Hello again. Time to check what's biting for anglers when they drop a line in the Spencer Gulf this weekend. Here's our fishing experts with their tips.
Hi whalers fishing tips this week. Early in the morning on the local foreshore there's been some nice catches of silver whiting, also a few small salmon and mullet coming in those areas as well. Off the local jetty there's been a few small crabs, got to watch the size, but there has been some good ones down there amongst them, just got to get through. Also off the jetty late at night they've been getting some nice sized garfish. Out on the boats down towards Cowlitz Landing has been the best area for the crabs, best to tuck in along the shallow shoal there.
G'day and welcome to this week's fishing tips from Port Augusta, Jewel of the North. The crabs, surprisingly, are really big and full at the moment, and they're getting good catches of those. Lots of squid around, basically everywhere you want to go. Always that good tip, drift along the front of the shacks. That last half an hour of last light is generally where you get the most of them. Some really good King George whiting in there. A little bit further north up the Gulf now, up and around even the Port Patterson area. Lots of salmon trout actually up into Port Patterson and around in the Oyster Run. There's still some silver whiting to be had on the beaches, especially after that big wind we had the other day. You can guarantee that they'll be on the bite as well. That's all we have from the Jewel of the North.
Welcome another week around the Gulf Fishing Tips. I tell you what, after that blow we've had during the early part of this week, I reckon it's just about the right time to go out and fish. We've had a lot of snook just prior to the blow coming around the place, so do get on to those fellas. Look around the Port Davis area and also around the Third Creek patches. You should be able to find yourself some snook. We've seen some yellowfin whiting starting to pop up, and the cooler weather will bring them in sooner than that. Blue swimmer crabs have just about run their race. The early part of this squid will be a great season for us all. That's all we have this week. We'll see you next week.
G'day, welcome to this week's fishing tips from Port Lincoln. Starting up around the Tumby Bay, Port Neal area, there's been a few flathead and yellowfin whiting along the beaches up there. Off the town jetties, been more so some squid, tommies and some garfish as well. Along the south coast, the salmon have been really good down there. Some fish down to 3 kilos have been caught, both on Coffin Bay side and the Port Lincoln side. Also out at Coffin Bay, there's been the usual whiting at Farm Beach, but inside the bay has been a little bit hit and miss with salmon, trout, some mackerel and Tommy's main catch. That's about it for this week. We'll see you again next week.
And with a sneak peek at what we can expect weather-wise over the weekend, it's a very good evening to Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John. A few showers across parts of the region today, mainly fine conditions elsewhere. From 3 p.m, Port Lincoln reached 22, Clare got to a high of 18, and there was a shower or two in Coffin Bay, 21 degrees. Looking further out across the region now, it was partly cloudy in Port Augusta, 23 degrees. Whyalla and Woodner were both 21. Broken Hill and Cooper Pedy were both mostly sunny and 20 degrees. A shower or two in Kadina and partly cloudy in Cleve also both reached a top of 20. Port Pirie got to a high of 22. Woodner partly cloudy, 21 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, cloud crossing northern South Australia with an upper trough is causing patchy light rain. Low cloud over southern parts of the state in the wake of a front is bringing the odd light shower. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. West to southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas around 1 metre, and south to southwesterly swell 1 to 1.5 metres. Partly cloudy cloudy in Port Lincoln tomorrow, 21 degrees there. Possible morning shower in Cleve, also 20. Woodner, partly cloudy, 24 degrees. Said to be a shower or two in Whyalla, 21 degrees. Port Augusta will have a top of 23 and a possible morning shower in Kadina, 22 degrees. Partly cloudy in Port Pirie, 23. Similar conditions in Clare and Broken Hill, 19 and 20 degrees. Taking a look at the weekend forecast now, heating up slightly on Saturday. Sunny in Cooper Pedy, Port Augusta and Broken Hill. Partly cloudy elsewhere. Temperatures mainly in the low to mid-20s across the region. While on Sunday, Cooper Pedy sunny and 24 degrees. Also sunny in Broken Hill, 21 degrees. Mainly fine conditions elsewhere. Set to be a max of 23 in Port Augusta, Port Pirie, Kadina and Port Lincoln. And if you're heading to Adelaide, it's set to be a possible shower there and reach a max of 21 degrees. Looking into next week now, sunny in Cooper Pedy and 24 degrees on Monday. Similar conditions in Broken Hill, set to reach a high of 22 there. Port Augusta will have the region's top of 26 degrees, partly cloudy there, and a possible shower in Port Lincoln and Adelaide, partly cloudy elsewhere. So be sure to wear an extra layer of clothing over the next few days, and that's all the weather from me for tonight. John, it's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Thursday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we will be back tomorrow night before the footy at 6:30 p.m. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.